Hello everyone, Sarat once again with the third Professor Layton game for everyone. Now, I don't think I could say much that I haven't already said, except this one came out in 2010 instead of 2007, 8, 9, etc. So let's go ahead and begin a new game. And unlike the previous, we don't have to spell out anything. It's nice enough to just let us type in our name. And I shut up now.
It just doesn't seem to add up, Professor.
I honestly thought you were pulling my leg.
What? I wouldn't dream of it.
Professor, I hope this letter finds you well. As for me, I am in quite a predicament. You see, the London we know and love has been thrown into absolute chaos. To complicate matters, the calamity I speak of does not take place in your time. This may be difficult to believe, but I am writing to you from 10 years in the future. I know this is a lot to take in, but I'll explain it all soon. For now, I ask that you head to the clock shop on Midland Road in Baldwin. I look forward to seeing you again. Your student, Luke Triton.
Strange as it sounds, it seems that the author of this letter is none other than your future self, Luke.
From my future self? But how is that even possible?
I don't know, but it does raise the question, if this letter is indeed authentic, how did it get here?
By time-traveling postman? Just joking, of course. But on a more serious note, I think this mystery might be the oddest one we've ever encountered.
Indeed. And even in the future, you seem to need my help in solving it. Your constancy can be quite a comfort in these uncertain times, my boy.
Well, thank you, I suppose. But back to the main question. How do we know the letter is real?
Well, we haven't much to go on yet. But I can't help but think that this strange occurrence is connected to the terrible events of last week.
So, as usual, we have something strange, odd, what have you, to open up the game. So let's check our new Unsolved Mystery, and as always, we get 10 of them that we will have to go through as the game unfolds. And yes, you kind of end up solving them all. But anyway, let's go. First up, a letter from the future. Professor Layton has received a letter from the unlikeliest of places, the future. The author claims to be Luke, writing from 10 years in the future. But how is that possible?
It all started about a week ago.
Using a six-dimension alpha distributor, I was able to guide a concentrated stream of Hammer particles through a temporal vortex, more commonly known as a wormhole. This stream of particles allowed me to divine the terminal points of the vortex. Armed with this information, the next step was to artificially distort the flow of time and generate a massive magnetic field via a Sula coil. Once the magnetic field is firmly established, one has the ability, quite literally, punch holes, or hive gaps, into the very fabric of space-time. After this crucial step, it is simply a matter of constructing an energy gate.
Quite the spread we have here, Inspector. Though it does make me wonder what we did to deserve invitations to such a feast.
It's obvious, Barton. I'm an influential man in the world of law enforcement. It's only natural I'd be invited to an important event such as this.
I suppose that's possible.
Possible, you say?
Probable. Highly probable, sir.
So we have some wibbly wobbly timey wimey nonsense. So let's go ahead and do what the screen tells us to and tap an area. And yes, the clock is quite impressive. Entrance to the machine through that little hole there. Anything there? Let's see. I don't think there are any hint coins here. At least I didn't find any. But people watching events, etc. Perfect weather, huh? Well, let's look it over here. Because these two obviously stand out.
Oh, this food is simply dreadful, Bill. Do get this over with quickly so we can leave.
You know, it looked like he was enjoying a pretty good steak over there. Try that.
Oh, yes, dear.
I have to say, I feel a bit out of place here, Professor.
That's quite understandable, Luke. I'm sure most people would feel the same way in the presence of the Prime Minister.
Hey, look! I think I see Inspector Chelmy over there. So, Professor, what do you think about this whole event? Do you believe that someone has really built a working time machine?
I'm not entirely sure. Still, if it proves to be true, can you imagine the stir it will cause in the scientific community?
Well, I, for one, am very excited. Though you don't sound entirely convinced, Professor.
Anything's possible, Luke. But I won't be convinced until I've seen the contraption work for myself.
Good man.
And I must confess, something about this entire presentation seems a bit off.
Why do you say that? Ah, of course. That must be your famous intuition talking, huh?
That's one way of putting it, but enough speculation. Look over there, Luke.
That guard? What about him?
He seems to be looking for a man who snuck into the event uninvited.
Oh, so we have an intruder in our midst.
Now, we could just immediately talk to this guard, but we have, you know, these two here. Let's talk to them first. Well, the food is certainly nothing to write home about, even though you're scarfing it down like you're starving. Sorry you feel that way, sir. I think it's quite scrumptious myself. Bah, this oversalted chop and pile of wilted green has nothing on a meal's cooking. If that's your feeling, sir, I'd be happy to relieve you of that, burden. Now, see here, Barton. If you don't return my chop to me at once, I'll have you driving a desk next week. It would be worth it. This roast is simply delectable. Well, that's all you'll pretty much get out of them. This should repeat the conversation. Nope. Hey! Sir. Come on, sir. It's not all bad. Blah, blah, blah. I don't really want to... Just more of them talking about the food and the event and all that. I won't do that too often, but that's just not an exciting... These two are just not that exciting to talk to. Okay, I lied. I didn't mean to skip past that one. So, anyway. Let's go ahead and talk to the guard. Oh dear, this is not going to go over well. You look troubled, sir. Might we be of any assistance? Oh yes, please. You see, I've just received a report of some untoward behavior. And we get our first puzzle in the game. Number 1, Party Crasher, worth 10 points. There's an uninvited guest at the event, but the guard has received a few clues as to his whereabouts. His table is next to the one with the red flower. His tablecloth has a different color than any next to it. Oh, and his table isn't decorated with a yellow flower. Next to means lines connected by dotted lines. Take the guard to the intruder's table. So let's see. His table doesn't have a yellow flower on it. And I use the stylus to drag the guard to the corner, blah blah blah. Yeah, so we would take the guard and drag it to wherever the table is that we need to point out the guy. Well, let's do this. Memo. Memo brings up a very free-form little thing where we can draw all over the thing, or we can erase our drawing. And if we hit back and then go to Memo, it maintains what we've done so far. So let's erase all. And let's start canceling out things here. His table is next to one with a red flower. So let's see, are there any of these that are not next to a red flower? Well, let's see. This one isn't. That is. That one is. That one is not. And that one is. Huh, strange. There's no line connecting those two. Oh well. His table is not decorated with a red... Table does not have a yellow flower on it at all, so we can cross that out. So he is at one of these four. And his tablecloth is not the same color as any tablecloth next to it. Well, let's see, those two, we can't have them because they're both yellow. And they're both white. So that's the only one he could be at, right there.
This one's as good as solved. I knew it!
We found the party crasher. Now it's time to let the guard do his job. Splendid work, my boy. And here we go with the explanation. For those of you who have never played the games and did not see my Let's Plays of the first two games, all about picarats, or points as I will call them because I hate saying the word picarat. Picarats are points that indicate a puzzle's difficulty. The more picarats a puzzle is worth, the tougher it is. When you submit an incorrect answer for a puzzle, the number of picarats you can earn from that puzzle decreases, so think carefully before answering. Once you've beaten the game and saved, go to the bonuses section and load up your game file. From there, you can enter the top secret area, where a number of fun extras are waiting for you. The more picarats you earn, the more content you unlock. Whew, thanks so much for your help. That fellow's mooching days are over. Did you see that, Professor? I just aided in the apprehension of a suspect. Oh look, the presentation is about to begin. Let's get back to our seats. The show's about to begin. Let's see, we can click everywhere else, but it'll give us the same exact things we've seen so far. So let's go ahead and get this over with, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking part in an event that will undoubtedly go down in scientific history. And here to demonstrate mankind's first time machine is its creator, Dr. Alan Stangan.
Thank you, my esteemed colleagues. After years of research in the field of time travel, I'm pleased to share the fruits of my labor. In just a few short moments, I will be moving on to our scheduled demonstration.
Scheduled.
But first, I'm delighted to announce that Prime Minister Bill Hawks is in attendance today. As such, I have reserved a very special seat for our very special guest. Please, join me on stage, Prime Minister. No need to be shy.
this thing real?
What do you mean?
I mean, is this contraption a genuine working time machine?
Why don't you have a seat? See for yourself.
Before we start, would you honor us with a few words, Prime Minister? Good afternoon, everyone. Today is a monumental day, not only for our great nation, but for the entire human race. Since the beginning of time, we humans have strived to transcend our natural limits. We have conquered the skies and the seas, and we have even traveled to outer space. But the one frontier that has always eluded us is time. Indeed, traveling through time is a dream many thought was out of reach for humanity. Until now. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will join me in ushering in a new era for mankind. Thank you for those words, Prime Minister. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Please take it away, Dr. Stangan.
I have just one more request before we start. I'd very much appreciate the Prime Minister's assistance in this demonstration. What do you say, Mr. Hawks?
What?
I assure you, there's no cause for concern.
But I was under the impression that I would merely be observing the proceedings.
Ah, well, do forgive my presumption. It was never my wish to make you uncomfortable. I realize it's been some time since you traded in the hard sciences for the softer variety.
Nice dig.
Please, feel free to return to your seat, Prime Minister.
Wait. What I mean to say is, of course I can assist you.
Bill, have you lost your mind?
Ah, that's the courage we've come to expect from our fearless leader. You have my thanks. And now, without further ado, I give you my time machine. Mr. Hawks, would you mind just stepping inside?
Huh?
What the dickens just happened?
Something's gone very wrong.
Oh, where is he? Someone find Bill!
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm and refrain from panicking.
This is chaos. The Prime Minister and Dr. Stungun have vanished.
My word.
So you think that what happened last week is somehow connected to this letter? Wait! Maybe if the time machine was real, this letter is real too!
I don't know about that, but these two elements aren't the only puzzling issues. Tell me, Luke, have you heard about the recent disappearances occurring here in London?
Oh yes, I read about it in the paper. Some of London's greatest scientists have been mysteriously vanishing.
Yes, and I can't shake the feeling that those disappearances are linked to this whole affair. In any case, it seems our best course of action is to head to the location mentioned in the letter.
Good idea!
And so we have a second unsolved mystery popping up, the missing leader, the missing Prime Minister. Prime Minister Bill Hawks mysteriously disappeared during the time machine demonstration. No trace of him was found, so where could he possibly be now?
Following the clue in the letter, the Professor and I set off. What awaited us was one of the biggest mysteries we've ever encountered.
To my dear friend, Surratt.
Somehow, a single letter had made its way back through time. And the sender, strange as it sounds, was me. The future me, that is. Little did we know that this letter would draw us into the strangest of situations.
Interesting there. And we're still in the prologue. Interesting, huh? The clock shop on Midland Road. I think this marks a good stopping point for the first video in this series. Hold on, folks. It's going to be a long ride, as all the Professor Layton games are. So, until next time, I will see everybody again. Bye, folks.